This is another mini episode of Teach Me to Dad with our two dads, Ben and Chris. We're going to hear from these two on another topic that we're going to do each week about what they did in their families, how this played out, how their faith shapes how they raise their families. And so great insights from these guys. Thanks to Fruit, the sponsor. Check out their app for helping you read the Bible and grow. Link in the description. Over to the Rad Dads. Chris, give us your thoughts on this one. TV with your kids. TV, movies. What lines do you draw with them? What advice do you give them? What restrictions do you do? And what's been helpful with things like TV?
Yeah, it's interesting when you've asked questions about drawing a line in the sand, and I've kind of said you kind of don't want to do that. But TV becomes iPad, becomes laptop, becomes personal screen time. So we probably call it screen time. And it is actually good to have lines because that creates less arguments. So you can say, it's not screen time now, put it away. So since birth, our family's grown up with a siesta, a rest time after lunch. And so that has been different things. So it's been quiet time, reading time, sleeping time, or watching a movie, kind of that after lunch siesta idea. And so you can say, turn the TV off, it's not rest time or sleep time. So my kids could not play by themselves, are not readers. They wanted to be playing with us. And so it was almost like the only space we could get from them was when they were asleep or watching a screen. And so that means you can abuse that. So it's good to have rules for yourself.
Yeah.
But then realizing that every family is different. So when you go around to someone else's house, so set up your family rules that you're keen on, and then kind of stick to them. So saying things like it's not screen time, or it is, and as they get older, it's probably one of your biggest bargaining chips. So taking the phone off them or the laptop off them. So rules like no phones or screens, it sounds stupid, but at the dinner table, like that's family time, we would never go out for lunch somewhere and give our kid an iPhone like to watch. So yeah, when friends are over, do you know what I mean? Teaching them to be present, putting the phones away, screen away. And you can say the line of, I need me time, or do you know what I mean? I need my kid to be watching TV for me to survive. I would just challenge that a little bit and say, really? They'll be in bed soon. But come to a decision with your wife and stick to that. But realise as they get older, they will have a phone or screen 24/7. And how are you going to manage that?
Yes. Come back to that. But yeah, thoughts?
So we were, like Chris, we're quite intentional on this one. And I think I'll use TV to screen time as well for the same reasons. But it also comes back to something I said earlier, is when they were younger, we wanted to do all we can for them to fall in love with books. And so that would be more of a go-to, knowing that this was coming. That wasn't the only reason, but recognising that that TV was there. Now, what's interesting is, as a kid, I grew up with the TV always on. It was one of those things. And so there was this socialised approach to things. And so it was very intentional. It almost felt like for me, it was one of those things of walking against the tide in this space. It's like just the TV can be on. It's like, you get home from school and you're going to watch a particular show. I'm going to say a whole lot of shows that's going to make me sound really old right now. But interestingly, back in the day, your timetable's almost set by the show that's on.
Yeah,
You know, you got the 6 o'clock news, you know, and all of those sorts of things that go on. I'm not going to say happy days, but I just did. But so there was this culture, but we were very conscious of that, and also very conscious of what goes into these minds and brains and forming humans is very shaping. And so we were very conscious of that. And so with screen time, it's like what's the content on the screens? And so we put protections in place where if they were looking at anything, we would be able to monitor that and track that. If they wanted to download an app, they need to get get approvals from us. That's still the case. No screens in your room on your own. You know, things like that. We don't do this incredibly well, like sometimes, you know, but we do our best in regards to putting those sorts of things in place. Also, things like common sense media has been a helpful tool to get a sense as to what is this show about, what are people saying about it, and then we'll call up friends and talk to friends about things like that. We would also try and model things as well. So if friends are coming over to our house, we would say, the kids, we're planning on showing the kids this movie. Does this work for you?
Yeah.
And get agreement with that, and then hope that that's reciprocated, you know. But just on that particular point, I know we're talking about screens and TV, but as Chris mentioned, our kids go into other homes, right? And a really intentional thing that we made was, where are we going to bring the kids up? And so we made a very intentional decision of the church that we're going to go to, the school that we're going to go to, so that the group of people around our kids are generally, hopefully, going to be other parents that we feel comfortable to have these types of conversations with, and there's a layer of other protection. And so there was a level of intentionality in that as well.